like millions of other people, I became completely enamored with Jamar Rogers on season 2 of The Voice. Not only did he choose these really, really cool songs, but he had this amazing vocal range and just this pure raw talent when he would sing. And he decided to be so brave and to share his personal story with the world. At that moment, I decided that I was going to follow his career and just wish him well for forever. Well, fast forward to 2020, as if the year couldn't get any crazier. Jamar Rogers and I have become friends, and it's been a truly beautiful experience so far. I'm really excited to share this discussion with you as we talk about his travels to Mexico, his wellness practices, and tons of other stuff. He is truly a kindred spirit.
Yay!
All right, welcome back, Jamar. Hello, how are you today?
I'm really great. Good morning from sunny Los Angeles. Good to see you.
Oh, so you back in LA now?
I'm back in LA. Unfortunately, I'm back.
On the
Now
American soil, right?
back to the American dream. Here I am. Here I am. It's good to see you though. You look
It's
wonderful and radiant and
Thank
beautiful with that
you.
smile of yours.
Thank you. You look very handsome yourself, all sun-kissed, and
I I'm definitely that.
I actually think I'm going to be heading soon to where you were
No
because,
way.
yeah, because Europe is closed right now and I got to get out of here.
Yeah,
And
you do.
I'm going a little bit crazy. So I'm like, well, if you can't be where you intended on being, I might as well just go and enjoy my winter.
Oh
Um,
my gosh, you should.
yeah,
Not
I've
to
never
mention
been to Mexico. So,
whoa, not to mention
yes.
Mexico, as far as COVID goes, traveling during the time of COVID in Mexico, I felt 1,000% safer there than I do here. It's because their masks are not, it's not an option. You know, masks are required, they're mandatory everywhere. Before you enter into any establishment, whether it be a 7-Eleven to a little restaurant, there's someone there waiting to take your temperature, to give you hand sanitizer, and you have to sanitize your feet, your shoes. So like they're just on top of it there. I mean, even when you were waiting in line at the airport, there's this lady coming by squirting sanitizer on you. They spray your bags down. Like they're taking it really serious there. So I felt very safe. I got a COVID test when I got back. I isolated a little bit, but I feel great. I like I said, I don't feel like I was unsafe or in danger at all in any way.
So you'll have to tell me all the great places to go and what to do and what
I
to
got
see
you.
while
I
I'm
got
there.
you. I got you.
So you were living it up and having a very good time. I was watching your stories, you and your boo thing in the sun,
Yeah.
making
Yeah.
music, being
Yes.
creative. Like I
Yes.
was just like, oh my
Yes.
God.
Yes.
So I am so excited about this video
Yes.
now that I've seen a little behind the scenes. So tell me a little bit about one, what you guys were doing and
Okay.
what you enjoyed in Mexico, but also what's going on with this new music video that you have coming out because it looks amazing.
So it's crazy. The song is called Flow that I'm going to release, and it talks. It's basically about me being in my mind and overthinking things because that's what I tend to do a lot of times. And I think a lot of people can relate. And the hook is basically just saying I need to take a deep breath before I get ahead of myself and just flow. And it's about going with the flow. This trip to Mexico, this 17-day excursion, changed my life because I actually learned the lesson from my song while working on this song in Mexico. So my boyfriend had this great idea. He was like, "How do you feel about being in a suit underwater?" And I'm like, "Okay, I'm a moderate swimmer, but that sounds a little insane." He's like, "Just go with the flow." And it's even crazy how this whole trip fell into my lap. It started with my homegirl inviting me to Mexico City for 4 days. My boyfriend James was like, "Well, why don't we film a music video while we're there? But we're gonna need more than 4 days. Let's do 11 days." And then we started looking into things. He's like, "I think we need like a good solid 2 weeks there." And that's what we did. We went on a road trip in Mexico. We went from Mexico City. We then flew to the state of Yucatan and just drove all through Yucatan to Quintana Roo. And honestly, we went with the flow every step of the way. There were some days that we didn't even have lodgings booked. We just kind of like went with our intuition. And though we faced struggles every single day, there was a struggle to overcome every day. Because we went with the flow, it was probably the best, most momentous trip I've ever taken. Not to mention the footage that we got for this video is stunning. I'm swimming at the bottom of a lagoon in a suit, and I look amazing doing it. Who fucking knew? Who knew? But I would have never known if I hadn't taken that step outside of my comfort zone. And that's the biggest lesson I learned from this trip, that freedom, bliss, joy, peace, all those beautiful things are literally on the other side of your comfort zone. So yeah.
Awesome. That is so exciting. So when is we going to be able to see it? When is it coming out?
Okay, so
Because
I wanted it to be done by the end of December, but I think we have to do a couple of pickup shots here. So it's looking more like the beginning of January. I wanted to cap off 2020 with this song, but I think we're gonna need it in 2021 too. And it's just a reminder to everyone, like, our breath is the most precious gift that we have from life, and we can sit and we can soothe ourselves by taking a deep breath and not letting the energies of all this bullshit overwhelm us. So yeah.
that's awesome. Well, I'm very excited about it, and I know more of your fans are really excited about it. So make sure that you keep us updated and keep us in the loop on when it's coming. We need something to look forward to in 2021.
I'm telling you, I believe in this song more than anything I've ever put out, and so I think it's the time. So you'll definitely be seeing it, hearing it, and all that good stuff.
Awesome. So how are you feeling about being back in the US? Because we've had previous conversations also about your trip to South Africa. Now you're in Mexico. Now you're back in LA. So how are you adjusting to being back in stateside, not only amid COVID-19, but amid amid this horrific political embarrassment that is our presidency right now. So how are you adjusting?
What's funny is the moment you step outside of the US, there's this different energy. I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. I just know that when I was in Mexico, I didn't care about shaving. In fact, I'm not even shaved right now, which is a big deal for me. I just stopped caring over that. I stopped caring about frivolous things. What I saw over there was that people took their time, that people stopped and enjoyed life. They had long lunches. They lounged with their friends. Granted, when you're trying to get shit done, that's not really convenient that people are working on their own time, but it taught me to slow down and just enjoy the moment. Coming back here, you immediately feel that pressure to get back in the rat race. And you don't even realize that people are putting that pressure on you. It's coming from social media. It's coming from what we watch on TV. It's coming from our conversations with our friends and our family. And I just want to get back to that simpler time that I had in Mexico. So what I'm trying to do, because I think I'd love to live in Mexico, but I want to see some more of it. I want to go check out Guadalajara. Like I want to see so much more before I make that decision. So how do I bring that level of peace to me now, right? So that I don't get caught up in all the bullshit that's on the media every day and social media. And so what I've been doing is I've been setting boundaries. I've been setting boundaries around my social media time. I've been making sure I'm getting in my run, that I'm still just having lots of alone time and me time so that I don't let this nonsense, man, Chelsea, is nonsense right now. It is true nonsense. And I've never seen Americans so at each other's throats before. It's very disheartening to see. But at the same time, I'm hoping something really good comes out of this, this unrest that we're having. I'm hoping that Americans have a really long, hard look in the mirror and we all acknowledge our prejudices and how much we can be better and do better, because we ain't doing it right now. So
I agree with you. And I definitely understand. It's very difficult to explain, I think, to somebody who's not been outside of the US for a significant period of time, or you know, you were only gone for 2 weeks, but at the same time, you kind of were not just locked in a resort or on a
Oh,
cruise ship the whole time. So it's a different way of traveling. And
yeah.
it's very difficult to explain to someone that hasn't had that experience before of being disconnected from our society. But you find out very quickly that your whole value system starts to change. And it
Yes.
feels like certain other places, you know, you kind of wake up and you have a goal for the day. And if you're in the States, it feels like you have a goal every hour, you know,
Yes.
and you're just
Yes.
constantly being pushed. And you don't have any time to breathe, you don't have any time to
Mm.
process, and you have to constantly either create or produce whatever your field is. And it's exhausting. So I definitely understand how you feel. And yeah, brother, I mean, I am the advocate for leaving the States. I'm all about it, just because I do feel that we have a very difficult society here in terms of expectation and success. And we seek so much outside validation in our
Ugh.
culture so much.
Yes.
And I
Yes.
think that can be very difficult and toxic for people. So yeah,
Extremely.
I'm really excited for you. I can't wait to see what comes of this new feeling that you have.
Uh,
um and you know, it's difficult for you because you need to be in LA to do certain things, and you need to be stateside to do certain things, but at the same time, I'm sure you'll find that balance
I mean,
in ways that you need to.
if everything is shut down, I can work from anywhere.
I mean,
So I
that's
mean,
true. I
you know,
mean,
it's
that is true. A lot of my friends in entertainment are finding that they're way more mobile than they ever were able
mhm.
to be, especially friends that live in LA, because they're like, well, everything's online. Um, so
Totally,
yeah.
totally. And I'm even planning some online virtual shows right now. Like everything, yeah, I'm
Oh,
getting it ready from the comfort of my room. And I've been enjoying the alone time. I know some people are freaking out. But like it's been a time of introspection. And I think that I've learned so much about myself this year. And yeah, yeah, I'm excited to see what happens next too. I am.
well, one thing that I love about you, Jamar, is that you always like radiate this positivity. You always have
Wow.
this really beautiful energy. And I remember back in the days, I used to be like, "Oh, this is a really nice shtick." But now, now that I'm getting to know you, like, that's really you, and that's your genuine personality. And how do you do that? How do you
Man.
keep energy for yourself and still maintain this positive persona? Because you're definitely real, okay? You're definitely gonna tell it like it
Thank you for
is.
saying that. I
You're
am.
def
I will.
Yeah, you're definitely gonna tell it like it is, but you still have this positive energy about you. So where does that come from? Because I know you've been through a lot, you know,
I've been through a lot, but who hasn't been through a lot? You know,
right?
so first I want to start off by saying that I'm still a work in progress. I'm learning every day how to be a more balanced individual. And I think that I'm choosing balanced over like being joyful all the time, because balance says, hey, some days are not joyful days and some days I have to sit with my emotions. But on those days that I do sit with my emotions and I father myself and I talk to myself with love, it it really does sustain me for the rest of the week. And then I do have a joyful week. But I do recognize solitude is very important. I think it's important for all of us. And of course, I think that's a very privileged thing for me to say. I don't have kids. I don't live with my partner. So I am afforded the luxury of solitude. But even if it's taking 5 minutes in the shower, even if it's taking a walk, even on your drive to the grocery store, focusing on your breath and just reminding yourself that like, hey, everything's gonna be okay. I know shit seems crazy right now. And I think that because I've gone through almost dying a few times, having AIDS, living with HIV for 15 years, the drug addiction, I've seen that instances in life pass. You know, seasons change. And so I see what we're going through right now is one long season. um, I'm not saying that it's pleasant or that it feels comfortable, but this too shall pass. And so it's just about remembering what's important in the moment. Right now, in this moment, I can't do anything about the election. right now in this moment, I can't personally do anything about COVID, but what I can do is control my reaction to these things. What I can do is show love to my neighbor, show love to the person that's ringing me out at the grocery store, because we're all fucking going through it right now. So I might as well look for opportunities to love, because it's super easy to hate right now. Super easy. All you have to do is be on Twitter for 2 seconds. You're like, the outrage.
This is true. Yeah.
I mean, so the world I want to live in, Chelsea, is a world where I see a little bit of myself in everyone, and that everyone can see themselves in me. And so that's just the story I'm sticking to. That's how I'm able to maintain my joy. I'm also vigilant about my joy. I guard my joy. If there is shit on Twitter and I feel like my blood's starting to boil, then I know it's time to shut that shit off. I'm not going to argue with anyone. I'm not going to spend my energy wasting it on people that don't want to hear it or are not trying to hear it. But what I will do is love myself and love myself some more. I love myself by getting off of social media sometimes. I love myself for taking myself out on that run, for sitting up with your back against a tree and like putting your bare feet into the grass. Just 10 minutes of that, you're lifted. And I did that in Mexico. Yo, it was amazing. It was amazing. So yeah, that's to answer your question. It's just about knowing what's important and choosing that in every moment.
Well, I think that's really good advice. And you're right, you do have to like be very vigilant about finding your joy and holding on to it and not letting things come over that wall or go through that wall very easily.
And they do sometimes. They do.
Sometimes they do.
Yeah, of course.
For the past like couple of weeks, I've been like, Twitter, oh wait, can't do it. Like way too much going on. Way too much on the Twitter these days. So yeah, I definitely hear you. And I think that's another thing, like for me being in the States, oh God, you even just being here, you reconnect to social media so much more because everybody's doing it. And I remember being in Kenya and somebody was trying to tell us like to blow stuff up on social media for an event. And I was like, where we're located, because it was not an event in Nairobi. I was like, that's not even how things work. Like, there's like 2 pages for this town as a whole town. Like, we got to actually talk to people. And they were just like, what do you mean? And I was like, we have to go and invite people to this event and tell them that it's going on. And they were just like, just make a Facebook. And I was like, no,
these people are not on Facebook. They're not.
People are not on. And it's hard for people to believe in the States that there's places in the world where things still happen organically and everybody's not on Facebook 24/7. And your phone is kind of for like when somebody needs to see you and talk to you about something in particular.
If you have service.
If you have service, absolutely. I miss those days so much.
I kind of miss it too. It's like, you know what? I'm offline. Oh, I'm unreachable.
I miss those days a lot where it's just like, I don't need to look at my phone, but maybe once or twice in a day to make sure that nothing has blown up and everybody's cool. And we can kind of go on about our business.
Yeah, and life is so much simpler that way. I think you start to be more present. I think that you start looking around and seeing beauty in the things that you didn't before. There's just something pretty great about taking a break from the phone every now and again.
Absolutely. So I want to know a little bit more about your singing inspiration. Who kind of helped you get started, and where do your inspirations come from?
It was definitely my mom. I would not be a singer if it wasn't for my mom. So I grew up in church. I grew up in a really strict household. And my mom was in the choir and on the praise and worship team. So I would go to her rehearsals with her every week. And that's where I learned how to harmonize. In fact, I got so good at it at like 7, I would be giving her note. I'd be like, no, you're flat. But I was only allowed to sing in church. And so I was always singing at church or church related events. And my mom and stepdad, they really encouraged it. They bought me like this little this Mickey Mouse dual cassette tape recorder thing. And so I started harmonizing with myself. At the age of 8, 9, I was like stacking harmonies and vocals. So all my life, singing has always been a healthy outlet for me. Also, as a gay kid that didn't get much love elsewhere, singing was what got me attention and is what got, that validation. So it became my identity for a long time. That also kind of changed in Mexico. Like, I'm trying to tell you, this was a life-changing trip. While I was in Mexico, I started to let myself off the hook and say, hey, it's okay. You don't have to release music all the time. You can release music when you feel it, and you can do one-offs, and you don't have to make a whole album. Like, let me take this pressure off of you, this capitalistic drive in your art, and just create. I give you permission to just create. And so, like, I'm trying to find my identity in just being me and not in the things that I do, right? I don't want to get my who confused with my do. So I'm not just a singer, I'm a writer, and I'm a producer, and I'm an activist, and I'm a speaker, and I want to explore all those facets of myself. But for some reason, while I'm here, all I can think about is, oh, the rat race, the rat race, the rat race. So music will always be my passion. It will always be my therapy, but I'm really am ready to like branch out and try some new things and explore everything, everything. What I learned in Mexico was that there is nothing that I can't do. And I mean, you're talking to a nigga that was, oh, I don't know if I'm allowed to say that. You're talking to a dude that does not like bugs. I didn't think I could do the whole bug thing. I was concerned about sleeping because I like to smoke a little weed before I go to bed. I was concerned with all of my little comforts that I have here. Like, what will happen if I don't have service? And honestly, every time I was there and confronted a discomfort and overcame it, I ended up enjoying myself so much. So now it just makes me want to try everything in life. Like, what else am I keeping myself from doing because I'm afraid of being uncomfortable? Like, what the fuck? Like, there's so much beautiful life out there that I've just been ignoring. Like, let's get on this shit. So sorry, that was a really long-winded answer after music,
no,
but
it's good. It's good.
that's where it took me. That's where it took me.
You know, I'm always, since we've met, we're always kind of in this tandem energy. We were even sick the same day one day, and I was like, oh my God, this is so weird.
We're connected.
Something's going on. Like we're traveling along the same energy lines in some alternate universe here.
Yeah, totally.
But you always say these things that resonate so deeply with me, because as a photographer, I think, not to bash American society, I do love my country. I don't love politics, but I think that there's a lot of things about our society that we don't necessarily question. And I think that we're forced at a young age to be very linear. And I am finally getting to a point where I am allowing myself to engage more thoroughly in other art forms, because from an early age of about 6 years old, I loved photography. I got into photography. And although I liked other things growing up, I always felt like I have to define myself. And when people ask you this question, what do you do? What do you do? What are you about? You have to have a short elevator pitch, you know, you have to have that answer. And so you're kind of always taught to like sell yourself, you know, and define yourself and to put yourself in these boxes from a really young age. So it's very interesting to hear about how, you know, this travel has been therapy for you and how you're coming out of that, because I've also been learning a lot of the same things about myself. And I think that it's really important that the more people that realize that, the more we can change our culture for future generations, and the more conversations we have about it, the more important it is to have a positive influence on others, so they don't have to go through that feeling. Because you know, I mean, I'm in my 30s and I feel like I'm kind of just finally like letting some stuff loose. You know what I mean? And I'm just like, what is it? Because it's not my family. My family's always been like, oh, do whatever you want to do. But it's just our society and how it works and how you're expected to. When you're abroad, very few people ask you, what do you do?
That is true. That is true.
Americans, it is the first thing we ask. But when you're abroad, very few cultures start a conversation with, hi, what's your name? Where are you from? What do you do? That very rarely does that happen.
Correct.
And it's so much about how we value each other in society, how serious I'm going to take this conversation, how much time I'm going to spend engaging with you in this party or in this function is based on where you're from, what do you do?
You're right.
You know?
You're right. And how am I going to judge you? Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And so,
or how can I use you? That's a very LA thing.
That too.
What
that
use
too. What are you good for?
What
Chicago
what
too.
are you good?
Chicago too. Yeah. Yeah. What are you good for? You know, like.
Yeah.
And I think so we learn early on that like I've got to be good for something, and I've got to show that I have purpose, and I have to find this box and stand on it and stay in there. And it creates this thinking that's just like very limiting, you know, because we're
Yes.
not capitalizing all of our talents. So I'm
Yes.
really glad that
Ah, yes.
I'm
Man,
really
you
glad that
just
you had that experience, you know.
yes. Yes, you worded that really nicely. Yes, that's it. Yeah.
I used to
Yeah.
produce music actually, like back way back in
What
the day.
the seriously?
Yes, way back in the day, and it started as a hobby, and people started wanting to buy my beats, and I felt overwhelmed, so
What?
I stopped. Yes,
Oh my gosh.
yes, yes.
That's
I
huge.
really, really, maybe I'll let you listen to some of my old beats
Yeah,
sometime.
and it seems like you
But
have a little bit of time to get back into it if you're feeling it.
right, but yeah, I started, and I was just like, but I'm a photographer, I don't do this isn't what I
Yeah,
do.
yeah.
I don't want to get into this as a business. And so I just completely, like, I think I was still like 19, but I completely freaked out from the success of it, and that people were like, oh, that's really dope, I want to use that beat, and I was like, I don't even know what I'm doing, I'm just having a good time. Okay, stop, I quit, you know. But
Wow.
it's a big thing. I think a lot of people
Wow.
feel like that, you know.
Yeah, well, that's now I'm very intrigued. I want you to know I'm very curious. I look at you and I'm like, what's the sound? What's the sound?
They
So
were
yeah,
pretty cool.
yeah. Well, okay. Well, I hope that after this, like more people will be willing to take chances on themselves. Um, I think that we are meant to have more than one passion. If we only had one passion, it'd be so boring, right? I think that I want to take up more cooking, and I want to get into more gardening, and I don't know. I just want to do it all. Why the fuck not? Why can't I? We're still young,
Absolutely.
you know what I'm saying? Like, why can't we? So yeah, yeah. I sent you some video clips of some really cool stuff. I'll also send you some pictures. But I do want to talk about the most magical moment of the trip.
Absolutely. So tell me
And
about this amazing, amazing moment.
it
It's
was
magical.
it was at Chichen Itza,
Okay.
which is there's these Mayan ruins there. And the moment you step onto the grounds, the energy is palpable. I can't explain it. I didn't know much about Mayans before I went into this thing, but then I started doing a whole shitload of research after I left because I felt a kinship with the place. It felt there weren't that many people there, so it was awesome. I was there with my boyfriend and his best friend, um, and the three of us just felt like running around like little kids. It was just this amazing, amazing spot that I wanted to film myself singing there. So we did that, and I would just like encourage anyone to check out the ruins there, the ruins in Cabo. There's also these cenotes, which are amazing. And cenotes are basically, it's fresh water underground, and they've been there for hundreds of years. And the Mayans used to use them as sacred waters. There's also some famous cenotes where they sacrificed men and children, but just men and children. The women were like running the shit, which is kind of dope, right?
Already in love with that idea. Sorry. I'm sorry. I'm like, oh, okay. Back when we were running shit.
It's
I got it. I got it.
word. There's just this. I just. What's up, James? Where are we at?
We are in Teotihuacan, I think you said. And these are ancient ruins that they're still excavating. There's still a lot to uncover. And you can see all the stuff that they're still excavating here. Looks really amazing. And there's one of the pyramids you can see over here behind the tree. Yeah. And then there's a pyramid far out over there. Pyramid of the moon.
What? That's the pyramid of the moon?
Pyramid of the moon, and the one on the right is pyramid of the sun.
Hell yeah.
You want to buy? You can buy a waterproof bag for the phone.
Yeah, we got a water bag. Look at this. This is crazy. It's underground water. All right, now we're gonna change into our swim trunks and hop up in there.
You can leave the world at your feet, knowing, baby, you're sweet royalty. Yeah. Let me treat you like a queen. Yeah, 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 yeah. Just know when you go out all alone, I'm in your heart now, you'll be strong. Yeah. Let me treat you like a king. Yeah.
I just, if you are able to go, There's so many ruins, and they're still excavating. They're still digging, and I encourage you to see this now, especially while people are staying home, because you feel like you have the whole place to yourself. It was just awesome. Chichen Itza. I'm just
I'm
throwing that
all
out
about
there.
some ruins, honey. That is
Yes.
my
Yes.
alley. I went to Cambodia and went to the ruins 4 days in a row. Only
Ah,
time I think in my life I have willingly gotten up at 4 o'clock in the morning and we just the
Cambodia,
whole
huh?
day, like taking pictures and praying and
Ah,
having an amazing time. It will
Cambodia.
blow your mind. It will blow your.
See, we were thinking about doing Indonesia and the Philippines next, but now you have me thinking.
Bali's really beautiful, but I've only been to Bali. But I have Javanese friends that say you've gotta venture out past Bali and
Bali.
get
Okay.
to the rest of Indonesia as well. But
Okay.
I did,
Okay.
and definitely gonna go back.
Okay.
But
Okay.
yeah, yes, I'm so excited for you right now because like what's just happened to you in Mexico is not gonna go away.
Oh, I know. Oh, I've been bit with the bug. There's
Yes.
like there's just no way. And I feel
Yeah.
like our first conversation actually is what's like sparked something in me like, yo, this human has seen a lot of the world and I want to be like her when I grow up. So,
Yeah.
So James had the bright idea that we camp in style while we're here. This place is phenomenal. This is our home for the next 2 days. We are in Tulum by Cenotes. Look, we get to take a shit outdoors. Isn't that awesome? And shower here as well. Like, I don't know about you, but this shit is official.
Talking to you. So tell me how James is. How was your trip?
he's awesome.
I mean, this is like you guys are like going through quarantine, COVID, 2020. Like you guys are going through so much together.
I think we've both kind of established like, okay, you're my person. Like we've gone through the hard shit. So now it's just like coasting, right? There was this one, I don't know when it happened in Mexico, but it's just became this very easy trust where it's just like we can communicate without speaking. So James is he's a planner. He is a go-getter. And I'm not saying that I'm not. I just did not have the capacity to plan a trip like this. And so I told him early on, I'm like, okay, I trust you. Tell me where to pay. Run some things by me and I'll tell you if it's a yes or a no. But I said yes to everything. And I'm so glad I did. So if you are able to travel with a partner, I thought I went into this trip saying, okay, this is going to be the make or break moment. Like we've never spent this amount of time together. When we quarantined, I think the longest we spent together was like 9 days before we went to our separate spaces. But this time it was 17 straight days and we didn't bicker not even once. It was crazy. There's no reason to. We just have this very easygoing understanding. And it's not to say that I didn't have a few moments throughout the trip. Of course, I mean, I'm a Pisces. I'm a pretty moody individual. However, I have learned how to talk to myself. And I mean, I would just take a little walk wherever I was and breathe. And I'm like, oh, what the fuck am I like even complaining about? Like, look at this place. It's beautiful. The people are beautiful. The food was so delicious. It was so inexpensive. We got scammed a couple of times, but it was okay because like the way I see it is this. We had it to give. We had it to give. I don't like the idea of somebody taking more than what they gave us. But at the same time, it was like, if you like do the math, it was like $1. So it's like, you know what? I'm not going to make a big deal out of this. I love him even more after this trip. I think we saw each other in all of our splendor and we love and appreciate each other even more. So yeah, it was a great time. Great time.
Oh, awesome. Well, it's
not to mention there's a lot of Black people. I saw a lot of Black people in
everywhere.
Yeah, I was actually so happy to see so many Black people in Tulum. But then I got like, after spending 7 days in Tulum, I was a little turned off because there was so many Americans. And I wanted to go back to like Valladolid or Merida, where it was just, I don't know, a little more chill and a little more authentic. So I know next time I go, I think I'm going to stay away from the tourist hotspots and just kind of like have the authentic experience. It was the best. It was the best. Getting like my laundry done every day and just walking around the neighborhood and eating. I ate so much. I ate so much food there. It was awesome.
What did you eat? I want to know what to eat.
So here's the thing. There's a lot of vegan options, but I actually did both. I did vegan, I did some seafood, I ate some meat, and I kept waiting for it to like hurt my stomach, and it didn't, which was interesting. And the fresh juices over there are awesome. The juice waters. They have this apple soda that I just wish we had over here. Everything just tastes better there. I don't know what to, like, everything just tastes better. I say eat whatever you feel like eating. Even their Chinese food was good over there. Yeah.
Vegetables taste so different.
Oh
Fruits
my
and vegetables.
goodness.
I hated tomatoes for years, and then I got to Thailand and was like, oh my God, tomatoes are actually really good over here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, our whole like the whole GMO and the stuff that they add here, that's a whole other topic for another day. But I definitely felt in my body, I felt so much better. The only thing I wish I would have had was maybe some spring water. I was kind of missing that, and I felt thirsty a lot while I was there. That was like the only thing. But other than that,
didn't drink enough beer.
I wasn't. I was actually trying not to drink that much. I will say this, I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, but I will say this, that I smoked lots of weed while I was there. And it was really easy to find.
Nice.
And
good to know. Pro tips. Pro tips.
Yeah, like and it kind of fell into my lap. So I was just like, oh, this is awesome. I felt very safe. I don't know. I feel like Mexico gets a really bad rap in the media here, like lots of places do,
like
actually.
Most Black and brown countries, you know.
Yeah. But you have to go have the experience to realize, like, oh, there was Wi-Fi everywhere. There was like Wi-Fi in every supermarket, every cafe. The coffee was amazing. Like, it was just, yeah.
I love it. Other countries have Wi-Fi in places that we just have not even begun to reach. Like bus stops and public bathrooms and like
yeah.
and
I didn't see any homelessness. I saw no homelessness. I saw a few beggars, but you didn't see anyone sleeping on the street. You didn't see any tents or makeshift. I'm like, oh, so they take care of their unhomed here, unhoused. Where? I don't know where. I want to do some more research. I don't know. I've been bit with the bug. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
This is our last day at Laguna Yaku. It is one of the most beautiful, most serene places I've ever been. We were able to stay right off of the lagoon. I was able to film some of my music video here. I can't wait to share it with you guys. This place is heaven on earth.
So before we go, I want to know what bits of advice that you have for people that are, especially people that are interested in the entertainment industry, on how to stay grounded through the process, because I feel that you really have it down. I think you really have a good balance between being polite, being kind, being warm, and also not taking no shit, and being authentic to yourself. So can you give some of us that are having issues with this dynamic a little advice?
I think the biggest lesson I learned was to define success for me. If I feel like success for me is if I finally love the man I am when I put my head on my pillow each night, well, that's extremely successful, because I hated myself for so long. So does that mean that I'm like the richest person? Do I have any songs on the charts? No, but I stay working. I stay working, doing what I love and getting paid doing the things that I love. To me, that's success. I don't have to settle working in a job that I don't love. I don't have to. There's never been a time, like even just now, I just filmed a couple of songs for Playbill. I got paid really well to just record 2 songs, some nice lighting. And I mean, it was the easiest, I don't want to say how much, it was just an easy amount of money doing exactly what I love. So my message, one, is for people that are stuck doing the things that they don't love. like if you take a chance on yourself, if you take a leap, the net always appears. The net always appears, right? But you have to take that leap. That's the first thing. Second thing is, if you don't get caught up in the rat race, if you don't start comparing yourself, like don't compare yourself to others in your same field. They're like walking their path, and their path may not work for you. Like your path is unique to you, and just walk it out. Like we live in this whole like instant gratification society that we want to give up when we see things not happening. I've been making music professionally full time since 2009. And I've had my low moments, I've had some great moments, but ultimately, because I won't give up, I still keep getting gigs and I still get to do what I love. So I say, if you define success for you, then you won't be so disappointed when you don't match other people's version of success. People think that if you don't have 1 million views on this, or if you're not on the charts, then you're not successful. That's not true at all. I'm able to live in LA doing what I love and paying my bills on time. So yeah, I'm living proof that. Yeah.
Awesome. Fantastic advice. Thank you so much for your time.
Yay.
You are always a breath of fresh air, and
same. You are too.
I'm so grateful to be in your presence again and to have your time. So have a great day, and I will see you soon. And text me about the video.
I will. I'll send you, and I'll also send you some pics. So,
okay, sounds good.
It's good to see you. Thank you for having me. And,
thank you. I had so much fun.
Get
with
to
you
Mexico.
I will. All right. Bye, sweetie.
Talk soon. Bye-bye.